Hey everybody, back with a new episode of Babylon 5. Last episode was a lot, but we've got Sheridan in a good position with the people that he trusts on Babylon 5 to do something about what's going on with Earth and the presidency, and he's got the backing of General Haig and his people. So I'm excited to see what they can do when they're not being looked at, because no one suspects them that they know something's going on. The Delenn thing is tough. It sucks that she's not a part of the Great Council anymore. They need her wisdom, but they don't trust this new version of her. But at least she gets to be ambassador still. But, the warrior caste having a majority now on the council, I don't see good things coming out of that. That vision, I'm still wondering what in the world that is. Kosh with his mystery is always there. The Vorlons are going to be a big part of the future, I feel like. But I'm not any clearer on that, where it's going. But Sheridan was told he's always been here. And I guess it is along the lines of the fate of this great war coming, and whether or not we can fix the future. I'm excited for what that meant. And I hope we get other clues or visions or whatever in the future. This next episode is called Acts of Sacrifice. That is, it's kind of, I hope no one has to sacrifice themselves, but that is something that is sometimes required, and I wonder who this is going to be about. We're like halfway through the season. I'm nervous. This, sacrifice is a scary thing, but there's so many people on the show that would be willing to sacrifice their life for the greater good or for their fellow man. So it really could be anyone. So let's get into it. Who are we fighting?
One of the evacuation transports. It didn't make it out with the rest.
Struck, how many?
700 of our females and children.
Jeez.
Centauri forces closing on their position.
That is between the civilians and the war cruiser.
Changing course.
Sacrifice.
And
Those were good people.
5,000 of my people died in the battle you've just seen. The Centauri attacked without
that was filmed?
despite their promise not to strike civilian targets.
I thought Londo was going to be here to make a rebuttal.
He's issued a
What
statement
can he
saying
say?
his government didn't break its promise. He also said the escaping transport contained weapons, not refugees.
That's a lie.
That's
These
not
are
true.
atrocities. If Earth takes a stand, the rest will follow. I know that. Thank you, Captain.
The war heating up, we need to get more races on board, either as allies or in the League of Non-Aligned Worlds. Consider it one more step in learning the fine art of diplomacy. We don't have any other important ships coming in, so you'll be free to stick with it until you're finished.
Do we help you now? Knowing that in a few years, when your force is at full strength, the Centauri will ask us for help against you.
It's never ending, man.
Your actions in the recent past, the things you've said, they make it difficult for anyone to come to your aid now.
They raise their horns and stomp their feet.
Not on Babylon 5.
It would be a kindness to put them out of their misery.
This is a neutral zone.
Break it up! They threw a bottle at us! He insulted us!
Kaneki!
You, move!
Are you incapable of speech?
No, of course not. But it would represent a loss of face for me to communicate with an inferior race. But
Rude.
before I can speak with you directly, I must determine if your species is worthy.
Everyone wants something.
Heavy as the
I
head.
wanted respect.
Instead, I have turned into a wishing well with legs. The mighty Nard, eh?
This is so not okay.
I said put it down!
Don't.
It's dead.
Damn.
He was ordered to put down his weapon. He refused.
He's just been attacked by the Centauri. He has the right to defend himself.
It was your people who started the incident back in the zone.
This is a disaster.
Jakar.
Did you say this facility was for the treatment of species other than your own? You pollute the genetic pool. It does not serve evolution.
Well, my job isn't serving evolution, it's serving humanity, even when the patient isn't human.
The way for one race to help another is to allow evolution to run its course. It's for their own good. Well, thank you for the stimulating conversation, Doctor. You have some strange notions, but I'm sure that
Look who's talking through you. Whatever.
Yeah, I got your strange notions right here.
Get him.
I want me to be happy. I want you to be happy for me, and me to be happy for you. Is that so much to ask around here?
Right now,
Is everyone
yes.
here walking around like they're afraid of me.
I don't know you anymore, Londo. None of us do.
Now wait, please.
It's the truth.
If we do nothing, we look like weak children.
If you're interested in showing how strong you are, I suggest you return home and join the military. It's easy to talk about being strong here when there isn't a Centauri ion cannon pointed at your head.
It's true.
I know! It is difficult.
Your message is heard and understood, Jakar.
For now.
Send a message of our own.
Uh-oh. Y'all gonna get kicked off the ship. Well, y'all didn't listen at all.
They can find him.
Fingernails are pointed and left indentations here, here, and here.
Y'all know.
Curvature and spacing would seem to indicate, but not prove, Narn physiology.
I better notify Ambassador Malari.
I wouldn't. This place is a powder cake. One more killing tied to either side and it'll blow.
Excellent.
Is that Nassau?
I'm sorry, Captain, but we've reviewed your report on the Narn situation, and we have to decline their request for intervention.
This has to be stopped at the source. They rejected my authority. I have to reclaim it.
You don't mean you're
What are you gonna
I
do?
have no choice.
Then I'm coming with you.
You have shown the will and the strength to isolate the genetically inferior parts of your own species.
Oh, gosh.
An evolutionary protection.
I don't think you understand. This was not intentional.
Uh-oh. That's not a
This
compliment.
more than anything else has convinced me that you are worthy of an alliance.
Damn.
We will
That's not
now
what you want to
discuss
hear.
the terms of our alliance.
I mean, I guess we'll take it.
We know where the Centauri can be found. The casino, the Zocalo, the night places.
My authority comes directly from the Kari. It can only be taken by force.
Uh-oh. Don't say
Are
that.
you challenging me?
You've already made the challenge.
You're challenging
The
him.
question is, do you have the courage to back it up?
Ooh. Oh, no.
If peace on this station is the only way to win the war at home, then peace we will give them.
Ambassador!
I'm all right. It was
Asshole.
possibly poison, but I think I only caught a little.
Poison?
No, I mustn't let them see weakness.
Well, he demanded peace. They better listen.
Anyway, here. Talk to Dr. Franklin. He thinks we can get medical aid to the Narns, earmarked for their civilian population.
But you realize this violates your government's recommendation.
They said they can't give official help. And this is as unofficial as you can get.
All right.
If we do this right, there won't be any fingerprints leading back here. It turns out that we have more food coming into Babylon 5 than ever gets used. On the theory that the Centauri don't want trouble with your government, we could transfer some of that food to Mimbari transports.
You should probably give some of that
They
food to
could
the people
deliver it
who
to
live
safe
in
zones
the
in
lower
Narn
levels.
colonies.
What I have is at your disposal.
Thank you.
Now that's how you work together.
The captain felt very strongly about making this deal happen.
Then we will conclude this deal in our traditional manner. We will have sex.
No.
He'll confess when he comes to trial. He's come to understand the concepts of honor and obedience.
Poor
Is this
Sully.
correct?
Yes.
You know Lando's gonna go right up the flue when he finds out that one of his people was killed by a Narn. He'll announce it all over the station as proof that the Narn are barbarians.
That was a good
The trial
impersonation.
is going to stir up even more violence around here.
I could inject you with something, make you sick. After all, he doesn't know a thing about anybody's biology but his own. He'd probably fall for it.
That's it.
I'll get a needle.
No. I've decided. I'm going to give him exactly what he wants.
What?
Leftover food and medical supplies.
It's something.
Cargo holds to smuggle out a few here and a few there.
It's the best we can do, Ambassador.
God. Is he losing it?
I thought it over. And I'm ready now.
Ivanova, what are you doing?
I set aside as much time as required to have sex as is done by your species.
Oh, it
Since
seems
if
like...
we were to do it human style, it'd probably be too much for you.
Oh.
Are you implying that Lamati's sex is inferior?
Oh, no.
To conclude our deal, we will have sex human style.
Shake on that.
Boom, shabba, lubba, lubba, boom, shabba, lubba, lubba. Hey there, 3 bags full. You come here often? Yes, I do. Dinner, shabba, lubba, lubba. Drink, shabba, lubba, lubba. Tell me about your portfolio. Oh, yes.
Tell me about your portfolio.
Lie to me about your family. Oh, yes.
I'll call you before I go.
Yeah, you'll call her, sure.
He was trouble. I always said things would not end well for him and that it would be
Oh,
his
yeah?
fault.
Are you doing us a
Yes,
solid?
he did attack a group of Narns.
His personal effects will be confiscated, auctioned, and the proceeds donated to the Centauri War Fund. That irony is all the justice I require. Is there anything else?
That's a deal.
I don't think so.
Well, then I shall be going.
The Lumani sent word to Earth, confirming their interest in working with us, and said some very complimentary things about you. Which reminds me, the head Lumani left this for you before he took off.
He liked it.
That's sweet. Next time, my way.
Yeah, no. There will not be a next time.
It is good to have friends, is it not, Mr. Garibaldi?
This is so sad.
Even if maybe only for a little while.
All right, well, I really like this. The war is bleeding into Babylon 5, which is not surprising, but it's upsetting nonetheless. And God, Londo is just making me so sad because he doesn't deserve what Garibaldi is giving him, this friendship for now, because, you know, who knows what else is going to happen. But Londo is starting to see the results of what this has wrought onto him. And it's either people wanting things from him or avoiding him because of what he's done. What Garibaldi told him, like, we don't even know who you are anymore, is accurate. I would have never thought that Londo could have done the things that he has done. And I do give him credit for not making a martyr out of that guy who was killed in retaliation for what they had done. So, you know, that's something. But, you know, he did it for Garibaldi because he wants him to be a friend. And Garibaldi's being that for him. When he doesn't, Garibaldi doesn't know the extent of it. He doesn't know what we know. So I can see why he would still have, you know, some good feeling toward him. So he can have it for now. But if it all comes out about what Londo has done, what he's directly responsible for, I mean, what they already know is bad enough. But, it's just so sad because it could have so easily been avoided. And, I really love G'Kar here. He was a really good leader. I don't know what to make of that last scene of him kind of like hysterically laughing, almost crying. I don't think he's happy that Earth and all the others are not willing to join in this war. But they are offering something, and that should matter. And I think it does. It's just not, you know, the win he was wanting. And I love that Sheridan came up with this in a way to help unofficially. Because of course they're not going to join the war. They would have to have some kind of attack on their own. And it was really interesting having that guy there, the one with the translator, that they had that connection. That's a wild thing. But how they kind of flipped it on us. They saw us as an inferior until they saw how shitty we were. And they're like, you know what? That's what we're looking for. Subjugation. And even with Ivanova trying to explain it's not something that they intentionally do, it is a byproduct of the way your society is set up. Your lack of social support for people who are down on their luck, you know. This is a great episode in support of universal basic income. Something to prop up those that are who they consider inferior, but who we know that we know that we don't know what their circumstance is. We don't know why they are lurkers. And it may be something completely out of their control. But the fact remains is that they don't have anything to help them get out of it. And there's no social safety net there. And the fact that they saw that in us and was like, oh, you must be as we are. That's kind of fucked up, but, you know, it's a little look in the mirror. And, you know, their whole ideology of evolution being the only thing that matters is an odd one. But I guess some people do have that kind of way of thinking. But it shouldn't stop you from reaching out to others to help. It doesn't mean that they're inferior. It's what a way to be. And I hate that they like saw in humans the shittiness of them. They don't see it that way, but it is shitty. They saw something that they likened to themselves to get them to, like, get him to talk directly to her. That was awful. And, you know, Ivanova was very creative, and this is not the first time, though, the time when she was in charge of the purple and the green or whatever, where she kind of found a way around that. She found another way. She's, you know, resourceful, and, you know, just called his bullshit, because he's like, oh yes, of course I know about human sex. And no, he did not, because who could have expected what she did? But she committed to the bit, and it worked. And hopefully she'll never see him again, because if she does, he's going to want to do it his way. And I think, you know, he was starting to disrobe. So, you know, that's a no-go. But what a way to seal a deal. I'm glad that it's not, you know, a way that anybody else handles things. This episode was really good in the way that it's continuing to show the fallout of this war. We saw in the beginning where I believe the Narn, and that those were innocent women, children, elderly, sick. Those were innocent civilians. And the Centauri are not playing by the rules. They are fighting dirty and ugly. And you would think that they could get some help formally. But no nation is willing to get involved in this years long battle between these two races. It's just, I hate it. I hate that this has happened. And everyone is caught in the middle of it. Babylon 5 is caught in the middle of it. It was just an interesting juxtaposition with Jakar and Londo here. Jakar had to show his leadership and might because he had to take on those people who weren't listening to his authority. When he was handling that correctly, he was being diplomatic, keeping his people in line so that they could garner favor and get help. That's a smart thing to do. Even though he was challenged, he rose to that challenge and, did the right thing. And he said all the right things to Sheridan and Delenn, and hopefully he won't do anything. I think he's willing to get down in the dirt with the Centauri if need be, but he also knows the game. And as frustrated as he is by them not officially stepping in and helping, he did take what they offered. And then you have Londo, who's just kind of really sad about the state of his life. It's not going the way. There's no one there to celebrate with him because this is not celebratory. This is shameful. And it is nice that Garibaldi had the drink with him. I don't know if isolating Londo makes the situation any better. If he does, I mean, he has so much power right now with Morden and his creatures, that if he gets to a place where he stops caring because he doesn't have anybody, this could get even worse. So I'm glad Garibaldi had that drink with him. Even though Londo needs to feel these feelings, he needs to understand what he's done. It sucks. Sucks a lot. But I like Sheridan, giving Ivanova more work to show that he trusts her, and she came through. I love to see that. And it was a certainly an interesting thing that she had to deal with, but she handled it. And yeah, I just imagine we're going to continue to see more and more fallout for what the Centauri and Narn are doing. But hopefully they can keep their people that are on Babylon 5 as civil as possible, because it doesn't help anyone. It sucks to see the Centauri showboating like that. I mean, it's understandable that the Narn would act out in that way, but they got a tit for tat. Hopefully they're square and they're not going to keep the cycle going like their people have all these years. So hopefully we can keep the neutral zone of Babylon 5 for now. So yeah, this is a really good episode. It's sad. It makes me sad, but it is good. It's done well. And I like to have that continuing thread of what we've seen and how that's affecting the everyday existence of the people in Babylon 5. So yeah, really good episode. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back soon.